It's me, it's thee, and welcome to the first edition of The God Room. Now, today we will be doing something I don't think I've ever done throughout my entire time as the Goku Black. We will be doing a review! Nay, not a reaction, a review! Now today, I will be doing a review of Fastlane, the WWE pay-per-view that just played yesterday in hopefully under 10 minutes. Note that I won't go in the exact order of each match because I don't remember the exact order of the match card, and quite frankly, I don't really care enough to find out. To kick things off, we go to the kickoff show, where we got Riddle, because Matt Riddle was apparently too inconvenient of a name to keep, versus Mustafa Ali for the United States Championship. You know, the leader of that god-awful faction Retribution. Alright, now this match was fairly decent, with a very interesting top rope move by Riddle that was named after somebody famous. I don't really care to remember. Apparently he has a trend of doing that. Final Flash knee. But what got me the most was the long-awaited breakup of Retribution. It's about me damn time that they broke up this unforgettable team. And hopefully, we will see all those wrestlers go back to their original names. Oh, by the way, whoever came up with the name Slapjack, you deserve to be slapped in your jacks. And speaking of jacks, up next, we got Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair in a match that absolutely nobody wanted to see, and had about as much appeal as Nia's hole. I don't understand the consistency of making the number one contender and the champion rivalry go after the tag team championships. It's absolutely fucking dumb. They should build their rivalry as a rivalry, not a fake friendship. Anyways, the match was okay. Not really pay-per-view caliber, but it was decent. Other than Reginald constantly interfering. And by constantly, I mean only once. I hate Reginald so much. He's unnecessary, and the fact that he gets more screen time than half the wrestlers in the locker room is sickening. Moving on. Now this match, I was excited for. We got Big E versus the new king of Wakanda, Apollo Crews. I mean, that accent is about as real as Kofi's Jamaican accent. Maybe even worse. And don't get me wrong, I actually think it's very interesting what they're doing with Apollo right now. The whole, I was once the prince of whatever the fuck is, whatever the fuck he's rambling on about. But it's just the accent that I don't like. It feels forced, honestly. It just feels forced. Now, the match itself, it was exciting for the most part, seeing Big E get some early offense in, and Apollo Crews showcasing his strength, which I don't think any of us have ever really seen from him before, especially not against other big dudes. But that ending was total bullshit. And it'll probably lead to an extension to this rivalry, which I've officially grown bored of. I want to see Big E wrestle other people, and if he's gonna lose the title to Apollo, at least have him, go after the big league, go after the big title, because I would love to see Big E as world champion. And I'm sure a lot of other people would as well. And of course, we got Braun Strowman versus Elias in a match that was so forgettable, I literally forgot to put it in the original voiceover. Literally, this is just a secondary voiceover because I forgot to put it in. That's how bad it was, just a basic squash match. Alright, now I'm gonna go back to the original voiceover. Next, we got Shinsuke Nakamura versus the blasphemer of WWE. How dare that weasel claim himself in the position of a god. Blasphemer! The match itself was okay, not very exciting, but it wasn't really a bad match either. I don't really have much to say about this one. So, moving on! Up next, we got what was one of the best matches of the night. Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus, which I'll be honest, I wasn't super invested in, only because we've already seen this match happen multiple times throughout the months. Like, move on. Or if you're gonna have this rivalry go on for as long as it had, have them wrestle other people. They've been wrestling on Raw pretty much all the time. And it's not investing anymore. But the match itself, it was very good, with a very brutal spot of Sheamus basically getting blown up by the pyro, and all sorts of other spots with bloodlust-fueled rages. Of course, we all knew Drew was going to win, because he's facing Lashley for the title at Mania, and him losing that match against Sheamus would probably, most likely, definitely kill his not-so-pumped-up momentum right now. Next, we got a very odd match between Alexa the Exorcist Bliss and Randy Orton, which was more mind games than anything. Although, to be fair, that's pretty much what their entire rivalry has been. But what was interesting is seeing this burnt hand emerge through the mat. Although I'm sure we all knew that it was just going to be the burnt up Fiend. But don't take my attitude towards it, because it was very interesting. You know, seeing the Fiend finally emerge, and he's all burnt up too, all mangly, and his flesh is just skewered and ugh, and it was awesome. And he emerged from the mat to Sister Abigail, Randy Orton, and then have Alexa Bliss pin him in a very sensual way. I repeat, sensual. I really hope this is the end to this rivalry, or at least between Alexa and Orton, because now I want to see this new mangled Fiend versus Orton at Mania. And, you know, it'll be interesting. And finally, I hope I'm not missing anything. Who cares? We got what was absolutely match of the fucking night. The guy who everyone says I look like, but I personally don't see it, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, versus Daniel Bryan, in what was undoubtedly a 4 3/4 star match. The back and forth non-stop action with all the wrestling and the, joint manipulation and just the absolute sheer brutality from both wrestlers. They really wanted you to think that Bryan was going to pull it off and beat Roman. Unfortunately, there was one spot where Jey Uso just had to interfere. That's actually why I didn't label it a 5-star, because seeing Jey Uso constantly interfere it's really boring. It's really tiring, and I don't like it anymore. It makes me stutter, because it's bullshit. Now, the entire time, I thought to myself, Roman's gonna win, Bryan's not gonna win. But they really went an extra mile with this. Because guess what? After all the misunderstandings of chairs and referees and Paul Heyman reactions, oh my, we saw Roman Reigns tap. Now, thing is, I'm not usually one who's surprised by WWE angles. They haven't actually genuinely surprised me in a long time. But this one got me off guard. Which is good. That's what we want. And I genuinely thought that Daniel Bryan had the match won right there. Until Edge went Super Saiyan and hit Bryan with a chair. But, I hope that this isn't the end of this match. I actually want to see a little bit more of this now that we saw Daniel Bryan had the match won, but nothing was done about it. Maybe it'll even lead to a triple threat match at Mania, which I could totally see. But I mean, come on. We all knew Bryan wasn't actually going to pull it off, because Edge versus Roman Reigns is a main event match. It's a main eventer. It's spear versus spear. Blah, blah, blah. I think that's it. Alright, that includes this episode of The God Room. I really hope you all enjoyed it. I think I did okay for my first episode. There will be more in the future. This isn't the only thing that we're going to be doing. I keep saying after every sentence. And of course, if you have any requests for what we can do in the God Room, maybe a roast, another discussion, a review, a reaction, a rant, hell, if you even want me to bring on a guest, just comment down below. Oh, and one more thing. Edge is a Super Saiyan, and you cannot fucking convince me otherwise. That concludes. Ho ho ho!